Yo, what's going on, you guys? It's your man, the Grass Ninja. Welcome to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about Boruto 2 Blue Vortex Chapter 7. Normally, with these kind of videos, I go in depth and I break down almost every single page of the chapter. But since this is an action-heavy chapter, and there's a bit of dialogue spread out through the beginning and the end, we're basically going to summarize the important talking points, alright? There are a few points of interest in the combat that I want to address, but for the most part, we're going to break down what happened in Chapter 7. So, the chapter starts off with Mitsuki reflecting on his sun and moon analogy, or his ideology that he's adopted since the very introduction of his character. Originally, the moon and sun relationship referred to Boruto being the light that illuminated Mitsuki so that his lunar glow could light up the shadows, right? Since he comes from a troubled past, Orochimaru is his father, someone who attacked the third Hokage and the village, literally a murderer and a criminal to Konoha, so he's the son of one of the biggest villains Konoha's ever seen. So he's stuck in the darkness, and the only way that he can shed any kind of light is if he is next to one of the stars of hope, right? Toneri calls Boruto the star of hope, his son, who will shine on him and his light will reflect off of Boruto. So this is pretty dope. They break this down though because they call attention to the fact that Kawaki is Mitsuki's son in his mind due to omnipotence, but Boruto later in the chapter pokes holes in his thought process, calling him out, saying that you have lost faith in your belief. You can no longer believe what you see because you know that Kawaki has lost his radiance. He's no longer the sun that once illuminated you. And then Boruto even calls out this, saying, I am your son. Goes as far as to saying that, in my opinion, I don't even think you need to have this ideology, saying that you can shine on your own, but if you ever need me, I'll be there. So this is pretty dope. Now, the whole sun and moon thing is interesting, but there are some points of interest in the combat that I want to talk about. So the chapter initially starts off with Sage Mode Mitsuki versus Boruto, right? Now, this is very interesting because, for one, it starts off with Boruto throwing shuriken, which are easily deflected by Mitsuki's snake, or his sage snakes, the aura snakes, the chakra snakes, right? Deflected. One of them lands in a tree, and as Boruto's dodging the barrage of oncoming attacks, as soon as he's slightly overwhelmed, right, he just uses Flying Raijin, teleports to the shuriken that was deflected earlier. So this is very interesting because, unlike Minato, who relied solely on the formula tags on his kunai, or placing formula seals on the ground or on people or on other objects, it seems that Boruto and his entire character design has been created in such a way where anything on his person, for the most part, could function as one of the formula tags he can teleport to. Because we haven't actually seen the kanji or the symbols or anything, the formula seal required for Boruto to teleport, right? We had that original item, the Konoha-shaped pin on Boruto's jacket that the Toad was holding. That was the first time we saw him use Flying Raijin. Later, he teleports out to Kashinkoji at Sasuke's side, right? Somehow he just teleports there, so he's got to have a marker somewhere over there. Then he teleports to his sword when Mitsuki first tries to ambush him, which means he has a marker on his sword. And now he's able to teleport to his shurikens, which means there's got to be some sort of marker on the shuriken. So Boruto is very versatile when it comes to the Flying Raijin. He's not using one trick or just having formula tags on his person. He has them on his entire outfit. Everything, I'm assuming, right? This is an assumption. But almost every single attribute of his character design in 2 Blue Vortex could potentially have a formula seal on it. So he could probably teleport out of his cloak, right, and leave his cloak behind, or teleport back to it. Who knows? Sarada hugged him. He might have left a formula seal on her, bro. So Boruto's Flying Raijin is highly versatile, even though he says it's not as adept as his grandfather, Minato. He's definitely improved it and made it his own in his own way, right? Now, there's a dialogue exchange between Mitsuki and Boruto, which is incredible. So this is kind of like some power scaling, some statements that are being made. So Mitsuki basically says that your power level must be off the charts. If you are able to force Code to retreat, it means that Kawaki is no match for you right now. So there is some asterisk right there, right? Right now, Kawaki's no match for you. So if Kawaki did any form of training, or if he awakens some new Otsutsuki transformation, because I mean, let's be real, we're talking shonen, there's gonna be a new transformation. Until that happens, Boruto right now in base outscales Code, outscales Kawaki, outscales Mitsuki. In Mitsuki's words, Kawaki is no match for Kawaki. So Boruto's crazy powerful, and Boruto calls him out and he says, if Kawaki's no match for me, then what are you, bro? He's like, why are you fighting me? This is all pointless. So Boruto, cocky as well, literally understands how powerful he is, and we get to see this power take form in a jutsu clash. So as we build up to this ninjutsu clash between Boruto and Mitsuki, Mitsuki launches a barrage of snake clones at Boruto, which are all in Sage mode, right? This is more clones than what Naruto was able to control in Sage mode, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Sage mode Mitsuki snake clones out there, and they just ram straight through a tree, completely destroying it. Of course, Boruto has no problem evading it, saying that you're destroying the environment. This is fun and all, but you're kind of destroying Konoha. Isn't it pointless to fight me? And then out of nowhere, destroys all the clones by coating his sword in lightning chakra. Instantly, like Mitsuki's like, what is this monster right here, as he starts weaving hand signs for his snake lightning. Here's the deal. Mitsuki is in Sage mode, which means all of his ninjutsu are amped by Sage mode, which means these are senjutsu techniques. He's literally using Sage art, snake lightning jutsu, right? Boruto cancels out this Sage art lightning technique with his own base form lightning thunderclap arrow. So Boruto in base is powerful enough to outright cancel Mitsuki's snake lightning amped with senjutsu chakra, bro. Putting Sage chakra into your jutsu is supposed to be on a completely different tier of power, and Boruto outright canceled it in base form. So Boruto truly is off the charts when it comes to how powerful he is. It's almost unquantifiable. Because another thing I want to mention is that if Boruto's able to not only power up his ordinary ninjutsu to the point where he can cancel out Sage art techniques, right, as well as use the flying Raijin at least 4 times, right? There was this time in this chapter. If we go back to the last chapter, he was able to teleport to his sword. The fact that he left Sasuke's side at the tree, which is in a different dimension, and returned to Konoha means he probably used it again. And then he used it to evade the claw grimes, and then he used it to track down Code. 5 instances of the flying Raijin, which we know uses up a whole bunch of chakra. And he's out here matching Mitsuki in a ninjutsu clash. How much chakra is Boruto using? How much does he have at his disposal? Because we have to understand, Boruto has to be holding back a certain reserve of chakra. If he ever runs too low on chakra, if he ever gets hurt too badly, right, and his stamina drops, Momoshiki is able to take over his body, which is a very real threat considering how powerful Boruto is right now. So that means Boruto out here is technically nerfed and still overpowering everybody he runs into contact with the exception of the Shinju. Even though technically he did kind of cancel out Hidari's attack and he fought against Bug, so he was doing extremely well in a 2v1 considering the circumstances. He got jumped later, but that's not important. This man is spamming high level jutsu. He's out here clashing with sages and canceling out their techniques, right? He used the chakra of the planet, the Uzuhiko, and he's good, bro. There's no signs of fatigue. There's not a drop of sweat. There's no worry about Momoshiki. How strong is Boruto if he decides to, you know what, I don't care if Momoshiki takes over. I gotta whoop your ass. No limits, let's go. Nah, he's nerfing himself, and he's still outperforming everybody. Insane. Now, that's pretty much it for the combat, right? Like I said, Boruto and Mitsuki, they kind of resolve their issues with Mitsuki learning that Kawaki's light has faded, or the light that he once believed Kawaki had has faded out, and that Boruto truly is his sun, the sun that illuminates the moon in the darkness, right? Now, Boruto straight up dismisses the idea that Mitsuki would even need a sun. He believes that he has light within himself and that he doesn't need this ideology holding him back. But if he ever does need his sun, he can come and find him at any moment. Now, we have this discussion between Shikamaru and Boruto, where they basically summarize the events of omnipotence, how Kawaki's desires were reflected, and how everyone's memories were altered. And then Boruto reassures that this ability you'll forget about it. This ability is so potent that the idea of having any knowledge of omnipotence will fade from your mind. Like, you can have memories where it's like, yeah, Boruto came to the village and he shook everybody by saying Naruto's alive, and that, like, I'm actually Boruto Uzumaki. But the idea of, like, oh, there's a shinjutsu called omnipotence that can alter your memories, that'll fade, right? That specific information will fade, which is why he says Sarada and the class rep tried to tell you multiple times. It's just now, somehow, Shikamaru's deduced the truth thanks to Amado's idea of, like, having significant evidence, right, beats any form of memories, because memories are just vague illusions, right? A scientist teaching a ninja to think like a ninja, bro. Insane. This writing is dope. Anyway, they basically conclude that Boruto still can't return to the village, and it would be easier if he just saved Naruto and killed Kawaki. But Boruto reaffirms that he wants to handle this like brothers, right? True, they have to deal with Kawaki, but Boruto's like, I don't want to kill him. If anything, I want to just lay a fat one on him. I want to steal him in the face, you know? I'm going to slug him, and then we'll be brothers again, you know? Very cool, very Naruto and Sasuke rivalry-esque. You got to pull Sasuke out of the darkness. Boruto's trying to do the same thing for Kawaki. Kishimoto's pen is on fire right now. Now, the chapter concludes with the Shinju in the Ten Tails hideout, wherever they are. Jura, the leader, is reading books, and he discovers that none of the answers he's searching for are in these books. The more knowledge that he acquires, the more questions he asks, and his ignorance grows even more. So he decides that it's time to pay a visit to Naruto Uzumaki. So either Jura and Hidari, since he was in a panel here, are gonna pull up in Konoha right now after Boruto just used a bunch of chakra like I pointed out. We might start seeing him show some signs of fatigue, but right now Jura is going after Naruto. So the very next chapter here should have some portion of it, maybe the cliffhanger, conclude with Jura pulling up on Kawaki. I can't believe I forgot to mention this. Kawaki does wake up. It's like 2 panels of him being like, where'd that bastard Mitsuki go? Kawaki wakes up, but he's all groggy. He's still fatigued. He's still disoriented. So if Jura pulls up on Kawaki right now, he might have some way to force him to open up the Daikoku 10 dimension. There are people theorizing Jura probably already has access to the Daikoku 10, because where did he get all them books from? Possibly from the Daikoku 10 dimension. Jigen or Ishiki stored a bunch of stuff in there, right? Where did that black cube come from that we saw in the original chapter? So there's a bunch of there's a bunch of ideas going on right now. People are theorizing a lot, but for what we have as the cliffhanger, this is fire, bro. Time to pay a visit to Naruto Uzumaki. Let me know what you guys are thinking is going to happen in Chapter 8, right? The first volume of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex is over. We're jumping in, and the train is still rolling, bro. We haven't slowed down one bit. The pacing is amazing. I've been your man's the Grass Ninja, right? Now, before we close out this video, I do want to mention, here on the channel, things have been kind of random on my side of things. I haven't been able to upload as frequently as I like to. I'm kind of in between jobs. I'm working a new job right now, but I might jump into this other job if things work out for me. I've got car troubles I gotta work with, bro. I gotta buy tires and stuff. So a lot of things are happening to me in the real world, which is kind of slowing me down here in this whole YouTube sphere. So don't forget to subscribe and keep your notifications on. I'm gonna be posting on the community tab probably more than I upload. I'm still trying to do at least 1 upload a week. It just seems kind of hard to do at the current moment. Anyway, let me know what you guys are thinking about the chapter. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. I've been your man's the Grass Ninja. Peace.